taking action for you. This morning on TV 20 Detroit starts.
What's happening in entertainment? From Tinseltown to the Big Apple, this is your weekly entertainment magazine with Greg Dunmore of PulseBeat.tv.
Pulse of a new generation. PulseBeat.tv.
The PulseBeat with Greg Dunmore TV show loves being on the Riviera, but not the one in Europe necessarily, the one in Farmington where they have a movie theater that we enjoy. And we're talking to our favorite movie connoisseur. We're talking to Mr. Elijah Boykin, who is the author of Toward a New Cinema. And we had a chance to see Mission Impossible, which is the final reckoning.
This can't all be true.
Every word. CIA Black Vault break-in. Am I reading this correctly? The Kremlin bombing?
In fairness, the bomb was actually meant to kill him.
And Mr. Boykin, your opinion, was it a hit or miss?
It was a hit, but oh man, did he baroque that ending out of all proportion. I mean, you know, he said what he had to say, but then he hammered us over the head with it again and again and again, you know.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
And but I would recommend it because there's a lot of good, interesting, you know, visual features that I think any audience would be entertained by and enjoy.
And on the scale from 1 to 10, what number?
I give it an 8.
8? Well, you know what? I'm going to give it a 9.5. I thought it was outstanding. The Mission Impossible television show was my favorite during its heyday. And the theme song, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. So that just made it worthwhile. So we're recommending you see Tom Cruise in one of his most action-packed performances in his, now it's a franchise, the Mission Impossible.
It was so action-packed, the action was coming out of the pores of the film. So, you know, it's something that anybody would really enjoy. It was stunt-driven, because one person once compared film to like the circus, you know, so there's a lot of Harry Houdini circus-like stunts in this film. I don't think anybody will walk away disappointed.
And you really have to give credit to Tom Cruise, who is a seasoned actor, which means he's been doing this for decades and decades, and he still has the stamina of a much younger actor, which really is inspirational for anyone who is 50 plus to know that you can still hold your own, and he really held his own, didn't he?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd would be very proud of him.
And then we had a chance to see a film by Sean Woodard that you introduced us to, and when we saw the movie that he did before, which was entitled
Detroit Ransom 2.
It's a Detroit Ransom, only talk bands with the
yeah, and we talked about that movie, and then you said we had to come to R.I.C.O.
2.0, yeah.
Exactly, and we had a chance to connect to some actors, and a very old friend of mine who is still sparkling, Roosevelt Johnson, is in the movie, and we were introduced to a young lady who is beautiful and talented, and an example of what actors that are just doing things that are coming out of what I call Wood. That's my term now.
Okay.
There's Hollywood, there's Bollywood, and I am claiming that the movies that come out of Detroit are under the umbrella of this term that we're coining, Wood. What did you think about the acting that you saw in R.I.C.O. 2?
Well, there's a lady, Miss Merrill. She was really in the mold, I think, of Ingrid Bergman. She really needs more juicy and meatier roles, but I think she will get them. And I saw, like I said, glimpses of something that Ingrid Bergman had.
Leave him alone, Miss Elsa. You bad luck to him.
Okay. And I was wondering, do you ever do monologues, like To the Mirror or anything like that, from like plays or other screenplays that have been done before?
One thing I love about Sean is I asked him not to typecast me. I don't just want to be a cute girl or the love interest all the time. I want to play different things. So I've been a cop. I've been a murderer. I've been a YouTuber. I've been a gangster. I've been all kinds of things with Sean, and I absolutely love it. So it's hard just to pick one just because they've all been so different. I think Lisa's probably my favorite one from this movie, only because it was more natural for me to act like that. I'm not 25-year-old, but I'm gonna claim it. May not look like it, but I'm gonna take it. But yeah, I think hers was the most easiest because it was more me than anything. I was able to be myself more than anything.
Now, if you were to play a character, what would you be looking forward to play, you know? I'm thinking something like Lysistrata or Antigone or maybe a character out of Raisin in the Sun or something like that, you know.
I'm going to shock you.
Okay, I want to hear it.
I want to be in a scary movie.
Oh, you like horror.
I love horror movies. The scarier, the better. The more gore, the better. I love all of that. So if I can be like, it used to be a show called Scream Queens, and they used to just like scream who has the best scary scream and who can actually be in the scary movie. That is what I would love to do for sure.
Roosevelt, of course, was solid as he always is in Sean Woodard's productions.
I want this entire area sealed off.
You really were one of the most impressive creative people that I've ever met in the city of Detroit, because when I remember first seeing you at the Attic Theater, and it was, you were playing like a science fiction superhero.
Warp. Yes, I did Warp 1, 2, and 3, you know, and it was a remarkable experience because it was my first professional experience, you know. I got my equity card through it, and it was just it was a trip because it took 6 months because we did Warp 1, 2, and 3, and it was just training, rehearsal, and you know, because we wanted to make it big for the city of Detroit because it was really big in Chicago, and we wanted to make it even bigger in Detroit. But I got into Warp was at the tail end of the Attic Theater, moving from Greektown to
the new center.
Yes, new center area.
Studio theater.
Yes, on the boulevard.
Right.
You know.
Now, I want to just talk about a little bit your journey, because you are probably the first actor that I was impressed by that came out of the city of Detroit. No, you are, without question. There was no actor, and then it would have been you and Consul Cargo.
Yes, Consul Cargo. I miss him so much. He was so gifted and talented, and he was like a mentor to me, you know, because he had so many years of experience with the Detroit Repertory Theater. And he kind of took me under his wing and showed me what it took to sustain good acting, because it's all about believability. You know, people have stars in their eyes. Oh, I can be an actor, whether they're male or female. But they don't understand it's a craft, it's a skill. And you have to go to class. You have to, first of all, really believe in yourself. The confidence is so important, you know, believing in yourself and willing to make certain sacrifices. And certain young people, they have the stars in their eyes, but they're not willing to do the work that's necessary to be excellent.
Now, let's go from Warp at the Attic to R.I.C.O and the whole series that Sean Woodard has been doing, and your feelings about your most recent acting situation.
After Warp, you know, I experienced a hot streak. And then I took this job that took me away from Detroit because I love kids. Remember I told you earlier. And I used to travel around the country doing a one-man show, doing teaching science and certain things that kids needed to know around the country. But it took me away from Detroit and acting. I enjoyed doing that, but I always think about myself, we try not to regret about what we do in our lives. But if I had just stayed here in Detroit and kept grinding and grinding, maybe I would have been that household name. But I don't want to live in regret. Okay, from that experience, you know, from being on the road, I came in contact with Sean Woodard. Somebody said, hey, he's got an audition. Went down there and he said, man, I like you. Where you been? And then we did a film, and then 15 years later, we reconnect, and I did 6 more films with him. I recently just connected with him over the last 6 years, and we've done a lot of work to rejuvenate my career.
I want this entire area sealed off.
I'm a little older now, but reuniting with you and these other people who have the means of making great theater, great films in Detroit. It's still here and it's happening, and I'm still glad I can be a part of it.
Rico, Rico, Rico.
Pulse beat.
Addiction is an epidemic. Millions are struggling and over 100 lives are lost each day. Are you next? At Better Addiction Care, we understand the devastating impact of drug and alcohol addiction. Our network of treatment centers are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's time to fix the pieces addiction has destroyed. Our network of treatment centers offer detox, therapy, counseling, private luxurious centers, physical fitness, chef-prepared meals, aftercare, and your insurance may cover up to 100% of costs. Only you can put an end to your addiction. It's time to make the life-changing call and get the help you need. Call now, and in just minutes, you could be on your way to a drug and alcohol-free life. The call is free and confidential, and there is no obligation. Visit betteraddictioncare.com or call
855-246-6872. That's 855-246-6872.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service, our satisfaction guarantee, and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill.
Pulse beat.
Right, Grand Prix, Detroit 2025. We're always at the hot and happening places. This is PULSEBEAT with Greg Dunmore. Whoa!
Remember, this start is not the start-finish line. That's where restarts will be on the short front stretch, but it's the back stretch down Jefferson Avenue.
What makes the Grand Prix exciting, and in a city that is still predominantly African American? I don't see a lot of African Americans here, but certainly you've been attending, so let us know.
Well, I don't think it's an African American or any other race thing. It's an event, and it's exciting to see cars rushing through the streets of downtown Detroit. Brings people in from all over the world. They can appreciate our city. I just think it's a wonderful event. I'm not a sports enthusiast, but this is like very exciting.
Very exciting. Now, you were in Ohio when it was there. What's the difference between when it was in the Metro Cleveland area as compared to it being in the heart of downtown Detroit?
Well, in Cleveland, it was at the airport.
Welcome to IndyCar Airlines, Flight 12, originating from Cleveland's Burke Lakefront Airport. Please fasten your seatbelts. This flight will be fast. We also expect to encounter some heavy turbulence.
The Lakefront Airport, and I suppose it was a bigger, much bigger track. But I was flabbergasted when my husband and I were watching it. The cars zoomed by. I was all excited. Then they were out of sight, and I said, well, now what? Where are the dancing girls or the elephants? Or he said, no, we just have to wait for the cars to come back around. So I quickly lost interest. But this somehow, it's more compact, and you can walk around and enjoy meeting people. Oh, I met you two.
Now, the Grand Prix started at Belle Isle, and then it segued into downtown Detroit, East Jefferson. And there's been some controversy about, is the Grand Prix an event that is better downtown as compared to Belle Isle? Your thoughts?
Well, actually, when Bob and I moved here in 1986, the Grand Prix was downtown through the streets of Detroit. But residents complained about the noise and the disruption. So it moved to Belle Isle, and then people were upset because the animals were disturbed by the noise, and I don't think the drivers like the track very much either. So here we come back to Detroit, the streets of downtown Detroit. And I think that's much more exciting than it being. I didn't go when it was on Belle Isle because I didn't like the idea of being trapped where there was only one way in and one way out, and that's via the Belle Isle Bridge. So this is fun.
All right, now $1,000 in scholarships. $1,000 in scholarships. Use a safe driving tip and earn $1,000 in scholarship. Sign this QR code. I know y'all got student debt because I got it too. Don't lie. I see you laughing. I know you got the student debt.
Now, it's kind of interesting because, you know, the roar and the speed kind of hypes you up. And to have the Grand Prix as a place that really makes you excited by driving fast, but then you're reminding people don't get excited. So what do you think about the association of the Grand Prix with the Safe Driving Initiative?
Let me tell you, growing up, I was a huge fan of Fast and Furious. And every time I saw the cars going and the engines, and it made me just get a rush, and it made me just want to go drive fast. But the reminder we have to have is why people like this and initiatives like this matters, because you have to tell them where the right place to do these things are. The same way you see them on the track is the same way that if you want to drive fast, you need to go to a track. There's numerous tracks, numerous places where you can actually drive fast. You can test the limits of your car on these tracks. So why not take it to these places? Instead of being on the streets and cutting through cars where there's old people and there's families trying to go to work and trying to go to school, but you're costing them their lives and their danger. Why would you do that? So this is the initiative that we're running here.
Now, drag racing in Detroit has an underground thing, and it's considered to be entertainment for, especially when we talk about our urban audience, aka black folk. But your thoughts about drag racing and this initiative and the Grand Prix, because Grand Prix is, you know, in the spirit of the drag racing.
Right. This is a deep one. And the Detroit police are really trying to crack down on this drag racing things in the middle. I've seen people literally do donuts in the middle of a residential street or do donuts in the middle of a telegraph or a highway. But do you not realize the lives that you're costing while doing these dangerous acts? People have literally died. People are literally getting hit by cars. People are literally getting sent, ejected out of their cars from drag racing. And it's like, okay, you want to have fun, you want to have a little thrill, but why cost lives at the same time? You know, there's actually a study that's done that you are 4 times more likely, or 1 time more likely to get into a fatal car accident if you have more than one teen in your car. And it's reduced by 62% if you have somebody older than 35 in the car with you. But at these drag racing, these stunts, they're all of these young teens, they're full of life, they're full of this energy, but all this energy being put out in the wrong ways. So you know what? I really appreciate the energy that we have being youthful. You know, you want to do something fun, you want to do something positive, but do something where it's safe at. Go to a track. Go to an indoor track or outdoor track where you can actually test the limits of your car. You could go 170 miles per hour without causing somebody else's life to be a risk. So
I'm supporting them because I want the youth to actually have good messages to be able to find and go to and look and have something to be able to follow as far as driving safe and being a strong-minded youth and not being just a part of the youth that are not necessarily focused.
Adolescents, they get in accidents between Labor Day and Memorial Day. I mean, we should do something about distracted driving. We should do something about keeping our adolescents here with us. So I would say doing something with distracted driving is very important, and it is very important for me as well.
To be here in Detroit at the Grand Prix. We brought our team from New York, from Chicago, Denver. So we've come all over here to speak with young people around safe driving, distracted driving most importantly. In doing the research, we found that young people were most likely to die the 100 days of summer. So from Memorial Day to Labor Day, they are 3 times more likely to die in car accidents. And so we decided we would come out here to the Grand Prix. We love the fast driving. We want to keep it to the professionals, right? Let them do that job. Let us educate you on how to be safe, how to keep your passengers safe, how to return home to your family, to your parents, and to school. And that's our job at Do Something. We want to fuel young people to change their future. We also have our wonderful members here that are also sharing the word and explaining to other young people. They speak to their peers about this initiative as well. And Safe Summer Season is our partnership with GM. So they believed in us enough to speak to young people about this issue, engage them in activities throughout the day, take some pictures, and also create some PSAs to inform other young people not to drive distracted.
Grand Prix 2025 in the heart and soul of Detroit. You're watching PulseBeat with Greg Dunmore, and we've got a very special message for you.
Safe Summer Season, drive safe!
travel, and it's one of the oldest forms of transportation. Travel by train. Yes, consider traveling around the United States on Amtrak. Traveling by train is a lot less of a headache than taking a plane, and you'd be surprised how many places you can go on an Amtrak. And there's no passports or IDs needed. Find out how to get where you're going as soon as tomorrow by train. Call the Amtrak Travel Hotline right now. We'll book your trip and email your tickets within minutes. Skip the drive to the airport and skip the lines. Call right now to book your Amtrak reservations. We service most of the United States. Do something new. Travel by Amtrak today. Find out how to get where you're going as soon as tomorrow by train. Call the Amtrak Travel Hotline right now.
Call 855-827-5004. That's 855-827-5004. Again, 855-827-5004.
This important national healthcare update is brought to you by the Hearing Helpline. Now you can make a free phone call and save big over what you'd pay at a doctor's office for hearing aids. Plus, this offer comes with a 1-year warranty. And if you call in the next 10 minutes, shipping is 100% free. You have nothing to lose and better hearing to gain. Make a free phone call and save big over what you'd pay at a doctor's office for hearing aids. I urge you to improve your hearing for you and your loved ones and call the Hearing Helpline now.
Call 866-883-3689.
Pulse me.
Yes, I don't understand, baby. Yeah, we gotta go through this. We can't even talk, girl. We don't even kiss. I never would have thought we'd be breaking up like.
Now, you are the acclaimed R&B singer, songwriter, and producer, and you are known for many things, but certainly your journey with 112, the Grammy Award-winning 112, is something that has to be applauded. And I want to just turn the wheels back a little bit and talk about 112.
Yeah, I can. 112 raised me. Everything that I know about an artist, creativity, the R&B genre, just the walk, the talk, the everything, I owe to 112. 112 raised me, and so when you see me as Q Parker, just know that I'm always a representation of 112 and just the years and the catalog and the history and just the love of four brothers from Atlanta who just wanted to be in a situation where we could be creative and sing and bring music into the homes of millions worldwide.
And your signature song, I'll Be Missing You. And that ties into this journey, I'll Be Missing You, when you recorded that song with Sean Puff Daddy Combs and Faith Evans.
Yeah.
Did you know that it was going to become a song that would become classic now in R&B?
Well, indeed it would always have been a classic record to us because we were just paying homage to, at that time, the late Notorious B.I.G. That song was created because we had just lost Biggie, and Biggie was like the big brother of the entire label, and so losing him and his death really impacted us all. So regardless of what the world looked at that song to be, it would have always been special to us. Now, the fact that it became this global song and sold millions of records, it was actually my first Grammy. It has gone to even have a deeper meaning and a deeper level of importance and just being so special.
We know that we're in a community now where everyone wants to know maybe what they're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
But could you share with us something about Sean Puffy Combs, because he signed you in 112.
Yeah.
And you know him better than a lot of folk.
Yeah.
And your thoughts about what people may think and what you definitely know that you can share with this audience.
Well, the first thing that I always lead with is, he changed my life. And so he will always be a special individual to me. A lot of what I know about this business, I learned by watching him. A perfectionist, worked tirelessly, worked his butt off, man. And so that work ethic is something that was instilled in me and my brothers. And then currently, I hate to see, him going through the things that he's going through. But as his brother, as his friend, I've learned that in brotherhood and in manhood, you have to just kind of love through, regardless of what's been accused or alleged. To me, that's still my brother. And when you love somebody, it's just you have a different perspective that may not be the popular one. It may not go along with what everybody in the public is doing, but it's just a little different for me because I have a personal relationship with him.
And when you were working with him, as any boss, you can have challenges with your bosses. And is there a piece of advice that you would like to give to somebody that might be destined for the kind of success that you've had and the extreme fame and fortune that Puffy has had?
Yeah. That
might be lessons learned that you could pass on, just a strong sentence that they can embrace?
Absolutely. Well, you know, I personally, we never had any issues with Puff. Our dealings were always great. But what I will say to those that are entering into this game is just learn the business. Understand that you are a business. Ownership is the key. As much as you can withhold for yourself, do that. And in this world of independence, it allows you to have control of your own destiny. You can retain the lion's share of your sweat equity. And so just coming into the game, being educated and have an understanding of how to properly navigate in this game. This lends to you having an opportunity to be successful.
Looking at me sideways, ask me what I did now. It's ain't our anniversary, still trying to figure it out. So I get down on my knees.
The inspiration of me doing a solo project was just, you know, I wanted to sing about things that may not have been in alignment with the brand of 112. I wanted to explore my individual creativity and just spend some time with myself. You know, there was a point in time in our careers where we decided that we'd allow everyone to explore their individuality and, you know, just kind of do the things that interest you. And at the time, continuing to making music as a solo artist was something that I wanted to, you know, just try it. I released my first record in 2012. First album is called The Manual. And then it's been 12 years. And so here we are in 2024, August of last year, I released my first single in 12 years. It's called Beg, and it was received very well. And it was the beginning of this new journey. We're now on the current single, Keep On Loving. And it's just kind of going forward towards a fall release of a complete EP. So Park Fit is my fitness arm. I'm really big on fitness and health awareness and all those things. And so Park Fit is just the umbrella in which I do all of my fitness activations, whether that's through my foundation, active aging with the senior citizens. I do fitness calendars as well, and all of those things are under the brand of Park Fit Global. My website is itsqparker.com.
So as we say once again, not goodbye, but see you later, as we rush to listen to this song that we know, Keep On Loving.
Yes.
So continued success as God continues to bless you. Thanks so much for joining us.
I appreciate y'all, yes.
Absolutely.
This was good. This was good.
Yes.